Hi, in this video, we are going to summarize some data with using pivot tables. Pivot tables takes a large amount of data and could quickly summarize it and format it into any format that you find useful. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, here I have some data for a bank, and we have several branches. We are tracking by the amount that was the account. It's a new account. The type of account is an IRA, CD, checking, savings. Was it opened by a new accounts department or one of the tellers? And which branch is it in? We have 3 or 4 branches. And is it a brand new customer or an existing customer? So let's get started with our pivot table. By the way, let's look at our data. We have 700 rows, and in this case, 6 columns. Since there's no blank rows, we don't need to select the whole data set. We just go to Insert, and with our cursor somewhere in that data, and then Pivot Table. Notice it actually is selecting the whole thing, which has got a range name called Bank Data. And we're going to put our pivot table on a new worksheet. All right, so there are several ways we can go ahead and format that. So let's go ahead, let's just see very quickly by branch. So I'm going to take branch and drag that down to rows and our amount to values. We could also just select the check boxes there. Very quickly, we have the amount for September. That's just the month of data we have, and how much was put into new accounts by branch. I'm going to right click and select on number format, and I'm going to just slide that here, and I'm going to select currency. Just to make it a little bit, you know what, why don't we go ahead and actually redo that and eliminate the 2 decimals. There we go. That looks so much easier to read. Well, let's say we want to break it down by account type. So let's go ahead and take account type and drag it to rows right after branch. So now we can see our subtotals for each branch, and now it's broken down into the account type. I can also go ahead and reverse that. So I'm going to take account type and drag it above branch. Now I have the account type broken down by branch. So this gives us a little bit more information. Another way I could format is I could take account type and drag it to rows. Now we have an account or a table that is looking at our branch by the account type. So let's say we also want to see, is this a new or existing customer, but just one at a time. So I'm going to take customer and drag it down to filters. Notice it puts this here, and we're going to use this drop down and just say we want to see the amounts for new customers. And to change it back to all, we just simply check on it. We also have filters for our columns. So let's say we wanted to see just our checking and savings accounts. That will eliminate the columns for the other types of accounts. And we can always go back and show it all. We also have a filter for our branch. Now, in this case, since there's only 3, I'm not sure how much you would actually use that, but if we wanted to do just 2 of them, we could easily subtract that. So with that, you can see all the variations of pivot tables you could do. We could get open by, we can slice and dice. I'm going to change this and select back to all. And we could also go with put open by, so we can add some complexity there. You don't want to make it too complex to make it readable. Notice that when we're in our pivot table, we also have 2 new toolbars at the very top. We have a design. So I do want to change the subtotals, and I do want to move them to the bottom. And I want to add a blank row after each item. There, that increases some readability. So we have our design where we can change some of the settings there. We can also use some of these predefined different types of formatting. So it depends on your style and what your company would like. you can change the formatting to make it easier to read. So I think there we're going to stop. So you have now created a very first pivot table.